I mean, I've heard a lot of stories of like women cheating with an ex-boyfriend before their wedding, because that's who they really wanted.
Yeah.
But they married the other guy because that guy didn't want them.
Yes, my people, it's your boy Ty Logan. Don't ruin it with doing it. Welcome to another episode of Ty Talks. Today I'm gassed. I got my first female guest, Just Pearly Things. It's mad. We're going to be talking about all the controversial stuff. We're going to talk about men and women. We're going to talk about online beef. It's mad. Let's get into it. Listen, make some noise for Pearly Whites. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You're nice, you look good, nice dress.
Thank you.
It's all matching the room.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Did you travel from far? How was you today?
I was like an hour away.
It was like an hour? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's all right.
It wasn't too bad.
Oh, good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You alright? Good, I'm good. And you see, before I get into anything, I always like to start my show with asking my people, like, how are you generally? Like, are you happy? How's life treating you?
Life is good. Yeah, I like London. It's fun.
Yeah. How long you been in London now?
Like a year and a half, maybe.
Okay, and I could tell from your accent, like, have you always been? Where was you before? America?
Chicago. I was recruited.
Chicago.
I was recruited to play volleyball here.
Really? Well, you play volleyball as well?
Yeah, I play with the Mallory Eagles, the semi-pro team.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go pro in the fall, but then the YouTube stuff like kind of went.
Okay.
So now I don't.
So what if you like? What's your passion? Would you say it's more in the volleyball, or is it in YouTube?
Both.
Both. Your heart's.
I like music too.
What kind of music you do?
I like play guitar. I sing.
Yeah. I saw something like that. Like, would you do that full time? Have you always been playing the guitar?
No, that's new.
I've always wanted to learn the violin. You know.
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's a hard one. Yeah. You see the violin? You see, if you play the violin, I feel like a guy could get any female he wants if he could play the violin. Or the small guitar. What's the guitar? The small ones.
Oh, the ukulele?
Ukulele. You can get any woman you want just from having them tricks.
Guitar is better than violin.
Guitar.
Yeah, it's like
I think it probably is, you know.
The rock band type.
The rock band.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Do you play that kind of guitar?
No, I do country. I do country music.
Okay. Do you sing with it as well? Oh, I'm riding the... You know them country ones? I wanted to say to you, straight in, I wanted to start with, how come you've got beef online?
You see, when you get to a certain level of success, you'll see people just start beefing for no reason. People just start coming at you.
Why though? What is it about? Like, what is it that you do why people come back like that?
Okay, I had this clip last year, right?
Yeah.
Where I said, okay, you can leave your girl if she gets too fat.
Yeah.
And the women didn't really like that. But this is the thing. You can leave a man if he gets too broke. Like, women do it all the time.
They do it all the time.
So
Someone done it to me last week. Heartache.
So then they get mad because I say, like, I have 5 brothers.
Okay.
So they're allowed to have standards just like we're allowed to have standards. And so when I talk about that men are allowed to have standards, the women just get so mad. They're like, no, they can have 0 standards. I can be fat and not do anything.
I like that though. That's why me and you are going to get on. Yeah. Because I feel like you see a lot of men and a lot of women, there's some sort of misunderstanding here, because I think, you see women, they think it's alright to have double standards, but you see the man, he's not allowed. So what do you think is the problem between modern women and men nowadays? What's the big problem?
Oh my gosh, there's so many problems. It's so hard to pick one. I think like one, we're not really told what men want, and men are told that they're not allowed to ask for anything from us.
Yeah. Do you know a lot of this stuff because of like situations you've been in the past? Like an ex-boyfriend or...
No, I would just say it's growing up with brothers that actually do have standards. I mean, like my brother, he has a girlfriend that went to culinary school for fun.
What's that?
Culinary school, learning to cook. So like she's an engineer full time, and she went to culinary school to learn to cook for my brother.
For me, like, you see my woman, I want her to know how to cook. I don't want to have to teach her how to cook.
No, she already knew, but she just wanted to get better.
That's even better.
Yeah.
So she's someone that likes to keep. Now I like that. I like that because you see what I've realised nowadays, especially with women. I feel like a lot of them, they want you to accept them how they already are. They don't want to grow more. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So that's good. That's good to know.
I also started listening to these like online stuff, right? Yeah. And all these women would talk about how they wanted like 1% of income men. Well, that's my dad.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of my brothers are in that category. So I'm like, They wouldn't even look twice at you. And it's nothing to do with their looks. It's like the way they carry themselves and the way they act, and the fact that like they have no respect for men. And so to me, when I first started getting online, it was just more like, hey, this is where I grew up, and you would not get in the door. Like, I swear to God, you would not.
100%. Would you say that you thrive from all the controversy? Do you like it? I feel like you deal with it well.
I wouldn't say I like it. Okay, that's a strong word. I would say, I think that it's crazy how you can say basic things and people think they're controversial.
Yeah.
Like, hey, get married, don't get fat. That used to be just normal. Like, people knew that in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, look at the women back then. None of them were. You know, and you guys act like you're so much thinner here in the UK. You're not.
I don't discriminate. If you're fat, you're fat. If you're skinny, you're skinny. Everyone deserves love. Don't you think everyone deserves love?
You don't discriminate in who you date. You'll just date anyone. You'll just marry anyone. You don't discriminate even a little bit.
Let me ask you this one.
No.
Let me ask you this one.
I need you to answer that.
Go on, what do you mean to ask?
I need you to answer. You don't discriminate at all with who you date.
I don't discriminate at all. At all.
So it doesn't matter if she's attractive or unattractive.
No. There's some chunky people out there who's got good personality, cook, clean. Not everyone, especially in this generation, not every single person cares about looks over the personality. Because I promise ya, I've had some good looking girls, 10 out of 10. However, their energy, their attitude, their charisma to the...
this is pandering. This is pandering.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because this is what guys. This is like. I'm assuming.
I'm being honest.
No, I doubt it. It's like if I looked at the girls you dated in the past. I doubt they're ugly.
Yeah, but what your version of ugly is might be different to another person's ugly, and that's what the situation
and this is like I don't know why we deny reality. Like this is just.
So you're basically saying every fat person is ugly.
Did I say every fat person?
Nah, but you basically said if you're fat, go in the bin. That's what you're basically saying.
I didn't basically said that. Now you're putting
in other nice words. Now I would never do such a thing.
Look, there are exceptions. There are women that get bigger and they have a nice shape. There are exceptions.
And personality.
Personality can help, sure. But what percent of women today are really that feminine? What percent of women today really know how to cook, really know how to cater to men? Not many. So you're going to say, oh, well, they could have personality. They could. If women were so good in the West, why are men getting their passports and leaving?
Yeah, it's true.
And so when you come in and say, hey, like, I like big girls too, it's like, it's sort of a lie to women because you're telling women in general, because most girls aren't the exception, they're the rule. And most fat chicks aren't going to get the outcomes they want.
That's so upsetting.
Most people.
I'm trying to find a way to make it sound better than what you're saying, but it's hard.
Yeah, and it's just true. But it's like for me, I personally think I'm nicer to women than most like men are, because most men will no offense, but pander and not tell them the truth. And the truth is, when we speak, we're talking about the average chick. Most people are average. Most girls are average looking, and an average looking girl, if she's fat, she's below average.
Yeah.
And now you're thinking of the exception, right? Of an 8, 9, or 10. And she when she gains weight, she still has the good shape. She'll be fine, but most people are average.
You see the generation we're in now, I feel like we're so, I don't know if this is a word, we're so fixated on caring about what other people think. We might be missing out on treasure. You might have a guy that, I don't know if you like, do you like guys? Girls?
Oh my gosh! I'm not a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian. I'm so tired of these women.
I don't say you're a lesbian, but you might like a bit of both.
No,
some people like a bit of.
No.
Pick and mix.
No, that is not for me.
So you like guys, obviously,
guys.
So for you, you've got a lovely guy, messages you every morning, calls you every day, checks you're right. However, the looks ain't there. Even though this is a great guy, might even be in the 1%. Are you gonna accept him? Or are you going to lose this great guy due to looks?
To get in the door, you have to find the other person attractive. Do you want to date someone that doesn't find you attractive?
Nah.
No, and that's the thing.
I don't. But you know what though? Some people are happy to punch over their weight. Imagine you've got some, like you imagine you're not a good looking guy, but you got someone that's 10 out of 10. You see what I've realized? Some women don't even care if the guy's good looking. They just care about the money. If you're living at mumsy's house and you know this guy's got a big penthouse, you're gonna do anything you can to get out. And that's what I've realized. Some people
Many
don't care.
many women don't marry the man; they marry the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's important to some women. Some women, it's not. It just depends. No woman is gonna date a bum long term, in my opinion. The clock's ticking. They might for a short period of time.
Yeah.
But that's the number one cause.
But I feel like that's a lot of women, you know. I've spoken to like a good amount of women and they've said that like they've had a partner who's like a bum. They got to look after him, pay for all the bills. So I feel like some women like that.
Then the next question I ask is, who broke up with who? And they usually leave after some amount of time.
It's true. It's only a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, if a guy's good looking enough, you know, she'll put up with it for a bit, or maybe he has status in his social circle, but the clock's ticking.
The clock's ticking. Could you tell me something that no one knows about you?
When I was a kid, I had a chicken. His name was Larry.
You had a chicken?
Yeah, I had a pet chicken.
You had a pet, just one?
Yeah, he was kind of evil though. I'd go and feed him, and then he would run and try to like peck me, and I'd get like a broom to like keep him away. I was like, Larry, I'm just trying to feed you. But yeah, he doesn't.
What happened to the chicken? Did you end up tucking in the end? You tucked into Larry?
Gave him to my uncle because he was just kind of a demon.
Okay. And what did your uncle do? See what I'm saying? Larry's been on
I don't know.
Christmas dinner.
If Larry was nicer, you know, it might have ended different, but he just would. Yeah.
An evil chicken.
He was an evil. I had an evil cat too. I grew up on 40 acres, so we
40 acres.
Yeah, so we had I think 10 cats. We had chickens. We had ducks. We had.
Did you have like a farm? Was there a farm?
No, it wasn't a farm. It was just like farm land. So we would go four-wheeling on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, but we did have a lot of animals. So we had like dogs, cat. Like it was just.
What dogs did you have?
When I was younger, we had a boxer, and then we got 2 golden doodles when the boxer passed away. And now I have an English bulldog.
Nice.
Yeah.
The one with the...
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so moving on from that, going back to like your upbringing, growing up. So what part of Chicago was you in?
I don't want to say the town because the internet's crazy. Yeah. But it was like 45 minutes from downtown Chicago. Okay. So it was like definitely suburbs. It wasn't like city.
Okay. And how was it like living in the suburbs?
I loved it. I like the suburbs so much better than the city. Yeah, it's just less crowded. There's like more space.
Fresh air.
Yeah, I grew up in a 10-bedroom house on 40 acres. And I went to a Catholic school.
Crazy. See, growing up.
Oh, and I have 9 siblings.
9? I thought you had 5 brothers, but you got 4 sisters as well.
Yeah, it's like kind of it's kind of an interesting story. I grew up the second out of 6. So growing up, there were 6 people in the house. I grew up between 2 boys. And then when I left for college, my parents adopted 2 teenagers. So they were both like, one kid was homeless on my brother's football team and they took him in. He was like 16. And then another one was just also in a bad situation. They took him in. And then before I was born, they also took in a teenage girl who was in a bad situation. So they adopted 3. And then when I was 22, I found out that I had a brother that my parents gave up for adoption because my mom got pregnant when she was 17. But I didn't meet him until I was 22. So I didn't know he existed. He's 100% my brother. Yeah, because my parents got married like 5 years late. They were just young.
Yeah,
so
of course.
So total it's 10. But like when I was growing up, there was 6 in the house.
That's mad. How was the house? That must have been a lot going on.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame more people don't have a lot of siblings. Like when I hear like I had 1 brother or 1 sister.
I was the only child growing up.
That sounds horrible.
Could you imagine that? Playing with toys on your own.
Yeah.
Doing madness. Imagine that. That's why, like, you see me being the only child. I promise you, it's unfair. It's unfair on the kid because they start doing mad stuff. Like loads of times, I'd look in the mirror and do stuff, but you wouldn't do that if you had a sibling.
I feel like it's nice to know that I have, you know, family that's always going to have my back.
Yes.
Where it's like, I don't know. I think it's true that blood is thicker than water.
100%.
So it's like now, I mean, I have 3 adopted, so I guess 6 biological siblings, but still, it's like
that sounds
I have
good.
6
it sounds like you lot are very like close as well. I love the sound of like,
I mean, there's a lot of them. I can't be close with all of them.
Yeah, of course,
but,
of course. You can't have favorites though. You're not allowed to have favorites.
Oh, I do. They know who they are.
Oh my!
I won't do that on camera, but they know.
So, in terms of men, what's the best country to go to? For the girls out there, you know, the girls are wondering, where do I go?
Okay, oh gosh, they're gonna hate me here for this opinion.
Oh my God, what are you gonna say?
Okay, I would say that London has the best men, but it's for...
You already know, because you're sitting here talking to me.
But I'll tell you why. It's for a different reason. It's not necessarily because the men are better, but the women aren't as good looking here. So you can kind of punch a little higher.
Oh my God, that hurts.
I'm sorry.
Is that what you're saying to my English women?
Look, I'm sorry, but go to Miami for a day. Like, go to Miami. You just won't.
I've seen it online.
Yeah, you just.
I know if I go to Miami, I won't come back.
Yeah, that's
that's what I'm scared of.
You go to LA, Miami, and this is the biggest city in London, so it's supposed to be the most competitive.
Yeah, you can't get any better.
Yeah, so it's supposed when you're in a big city, that's supposed to be the most competitive, looks wise. And I'm sorry, if you go to our big city, Miami, LA, New York, they're just better looking. I'm humbled every time I go to Miami.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon it's the food they're eating?
I don't know. I think one sun. I feel like people just look better when they're just under the sun.
It's the sun.
And I think a lot of women go to Miami because there's a lot of wealthy men.
Okay.
So when you have the wealthiest men in the world in one place, what are you going to get? The hottest women.
Yeah.
Not to say that there aren't wealthy men here, but you know.
No, of course, 100%.
Yeah.
That I feel a bit hurt a bit as well. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel hurt. Offended.
They
I feel triggered for some reason. What's your thoughts on a one night stand? What do you think? Is it harmless? Is it a big deal? What do you think?
For men, I think it's harmless. For women, it is not.
A lot of people be upset about that.
Yeah.
But can you explain why?
If a woman slept with more than 5 people, so if she's a virgin on her wedding night, she has an 80% chance of a happy marriage. 80% after 10 years. So they did a study, right? They basically asked women how many sexual partners they had before they got married. And if they were virgins on their wedding, and then they came back in 10 years and said, are you happy? Now the women that were virgins in 10 years, 80% chance of a happy marriage. The women that slept with more than 5 partners, which I think nowadays most men pray for, it dropped down to 25%. Now, there's different studies that'll tell you a little differently, but the trend is still the same. When women have more partners, their chance of a happy marriage declines.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I mean, why are you acting surprised?
No, do you know why I'm surprised? Do you know why? I'm telling you exactly why, yeah? Let me tell you why. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm lying. But in my brain, and the boys, this is what we think. If you marry a virgin, stay with each other 10 years, 15 years, just like you said. I feel like when your partner goes to work, because they haven't had enough experience, they need to get out their system. And because they haven't got out the system, they're going to get out their system 20 years later.
You're not completely wrong. Because, some women get engrossed in the culture. So you can have her not had any sexual partners before, but she still sees the girls out in the club. She still sees the city life. So it happens to some girls, but on a balance of probabilities, what's better, a girl with 100 partners or a girl with 0?
Girl with 0.
Yeah. And so does that happen? Yeah, sure.
Let me ask you now. So what about a guy? Would you want a guy that's a virgin?
No.
Why? You just asked me the same thing.
To be fair, I don't really care. It's I don't really have a strong opinion on it either way, but am I out there looking for a virgin? No, not really.
Of course. Does the amount of women a man's had bother you?
Depends why.
Okay.
If a guy's a virgin and it's because he's religious or whatever, that's one thing. But as women, if we're looking at a guy and we think that no other girl on the planet wants to sleep with him, we're why? Nobody, there wasn't one.
Red flag.
There wasn't one taker, why?
Nah, it's true, but he might not have any game. He might not have, you can't chat to women. Some guys can't speak to women.
Most girls don't want to date a guy that can't talk to girls at all. You have to talk to us.
That's mad, And you know what? For me, I thought you was just born with it. Everyone's got it. Everyone's got the gift of the gab. You can chat to anyone, but some people, they don't like it.
No, 1 out of 3 men are either virgins or haven't had sex in the past year.
1 out of 3? Is it?
Under 30, yeah.
See, under 30 as well? That's mad. Let me ask you another one. Do you think men cheating and women cheating is the exact same thing?
No. A man will cheat with goddamn anything. Oh my gosh. They'll cheat.
Not every man, all right?
This is that's what the women say on my show. Not all. Not every man. But okay, come on. Let's say you're in Tiger Woods' position.
Yes.
And every day you come home and there's a bus full of models just waiting, begging you to come home with them. Now, You may be a good man, and every day you might say no. No.
No,
But you're
no.
telling me in 10 years you're not gonna slip up once? Like, man's only human. Most guys just aren't in that position. So most guys, when they're like, well, not all, it's like, are you in the position where women are begging to sleep with you? I just think at some point, like, and in the same way, I think if a woman is in a position where she's around a lot of high status men, like, she's gonna have a hard time being faithful too. Because women are hypergamous, where men, it's just like anything.
Why do women cheat though?
I mean, usually, okay, if you're dating a guy and he gives you a certain type of lifestyle, but you're not attracted, like, that's the women we talked about.
Yeah.
That they're not attracted to him. They're gonna go somewhere else to the guy they're attracted to. Or maybe they married their second choice. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories of, like, women cheating with an ex-boyfriend before their wedding. Because that's who they really wanted.
Yeah.
But they married the other guy because that guy didn't want them.
Oh, you're scaring me. I'm scared.
I'll tell you a scary story.
Tell me.
I swear, this girl... I've told this story so many times. This girl I knew in college, right? And she was like a sweet girl next door. She was dating a guy our senior year, and he'd bought her a house.
What?
Yeah, so they moved together. I mean, they lived in a house together, had a whole family. And I was at, they called them like darties, like day parties. Okay. You know, like it was for St. Patrick's Day, okay?
Okay.
And I go into the basement at the time, and she walks out with, and the boyfriend she had at the time was coming to the party, but he wasn't there yet. And she walks out of the bathroom with a dude that she dated freshman year.
What?
And he like cheated on her. They're only together like a month. He cheated on, like, he was crazy. Like, he was trying to.
And she went back to him.
Well, I mean, she's still with the guy from college to this day.
And he didn't even know.
He has no idea. And so he was literally at the same party, like, and the other guy had screwed his girl in the bathroom.
And then he probably went home and screwed her after the party.
Probably.
Duh! You know what I call that? Duh!
When a girl has more partners, you don't know who that person that really got her was. Like, you don't know, like, who the one she really can't get over is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God.
And so, and if she feels like he was better than you in some, like, it could be money, could be whatever's important to that girl, like, you don't even know if she's really yours.
Let me ask you another question. So as a man, would you say, see if your girlfriend cheats on you, what do you do in that situation? Has she got, like, done forever? Don't forgive her? What do we do?
I would dump her. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Yeah.
So if she did it once, if she did it once and there was no consequence, why wouldn't she do it again?
Yeah. But don't you think, remember what you said about the guy, like, guys cheat, like.
I said it's different.
You're gonna,
it depends. It depends what's important to you as a girl. Is loyalty important to you? There's men that'll be loyal. They're just probably not going to be as good looking. They're probably not going to be as rich.
Yeah.
It depends what's important to you. My issue is when girls, like, you know, Jason Derulo's like baby mama or whatever, when she was coming, oh my God, I have such a beef with her. Because she was coming on crying about, oh, he cheated on me with all these girls. It's Jason Derulo. What did you expect? Like, he's humping women on stage. And you think, so my issue is when you date a guy, so Jason Derulo, he's hot, he's rich, he's successful, like, he has everything, and you're whining, because he's not loyal. It's like, duh. like what? Like, these men aren't gods.
So what do you reckon then? What you're basically saying, what I get is, like, for females, if you're dating a high value man, have you just got to just take whatever comes with it then?
You don't have to. You can do whatever you want.
Of course.
I'm just saying it's stupid to. Okay, if you want to. Okay, one. If you're gonna have a kid with him, because to me, kids come first.
Of course.
Your kid's feelings are more important than your own, and you're gonna choose to get into a relationship with a guy that is very likely to do that, and has had rumors of him doing that on previous partners for years.
Yeah.
And then you have a child that is more important than you. Now you're gonna cry, and go to the internet and say that you're the victim because he cheated. I just have no sympathy because she's like an 8 or 9. Like, she's beautiful, right? Like Jason Derulo's chick or whatever. And you're telling me she had no option of a guy that could be faithful to her. Like, I just have no sympathy. Pick your poison. You can't, like, and we tell women they can have everything. Like, he can be hot, he can be successful, he can be this and that, he can be good with girls. and he's not gonna cheat. It's just like, pick your poison.
Yeah,
and I don't care what you
true.
pick. But my issue is like women coming back and playing the victim when you're not a victim. You were given, like, do you know what your life is like as a woman, as a 9? Like, what, 8, 9, 10? You have opportunities that most women would never get.
Yeah.
And if you choose to waste it and claim that cheating is a deal breaker, why were you with Jason Derulo? People think like I have all this animosity towards women that like don't have kids or are fat or whatever, but it's like, my issue is when you complain about the outcomes that you picked.
I like that. You. So how's your mental at the moment? Like, do you deal well with stress?
No, I don't, as women. I think women, like, we don't really deal well with high stress environments. I think, honestly, like, blowing up as fast as I did just caused a lot of, like, issues to the point where, like, I didn't realize how stressful it would be to be, like, in the position I'm in.
Of course.
I would say I deal with it, like, better than most people would, but to say I don't get stressed is lying.
Of course. And what do you do? Do you do anything, like, to allow you to let that stress
solve
go?
the problem.
Yeah.
I don't get de-stressed until I solve the problem. So whatever the issue is, I just try to solve it.
But don't you feel like sometimes it's not in your hands? You can't control everything. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
That's not the way I view the world. I think everything in life is your own fault, and it's better to look at a situation that maybe you didn't cause, but you can look at like what actions you took to get there. So even if someone else caused it, like you chose to deal with that person.
Yeah. No,
So
it's true. I think
like,
that's a good way.
And so when you look at things like, oh, everything is my fault. Everything that happens to me is my own fault, and I'm stressed because of me, and I can only fix it. Like, that's how I fix it.
Yeah.
So if the internet's coming at me for something, I'm like, well, I chose to be on YouTube.
Has it ever brought on like any anxiety or depression?
I don't know why we use these terms like
I know.
anxiety
I'm the
and
same.
depression.
I know.
It's like, okay, I just feel like those words are overused. And like, do I feel depressed at times? Sure.
Of course.
Am I anxious at times? Sure. But it's like, that used to be for people in extreme scenarios. And now it's like every person's depressed. Everybody's anxious. It's like we use terms that were supposed to be like serious medical conditions for just your average everyday people. And I'm just, no. I mean, do I feel depressed ever? Sure. Am I anxious ever? Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think happiness is a choice. I mean, there's studies that say if you pretend to be happy long enough, you start to feel it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think your mental health is a choice for the most part. There are extreme scenarios, because that's what they always do. Oh, what about the exception?
Of course.
But for the average person.
If you could tell me one real stressful time that caused you to go through a lot of like stress or them anxiety moments, what would it be?
My cousin died when I was in college, and I was really sad about that when he died.
Sorry for the loss. Mm-hmm. How did you get through at the time? Was it volleyball that took your mind off things? Was you still positive or?
He died because of poor life choices that he made, and I just took it upon me to not make those life choices. 100%. I just felt like it was something I could learn. His death was avoidable, and I just think it was a learning scenario. And I felt like I could live my life in a way that he didn't, as a way to honor him, so.
Nah, good, 100%, that's the best way. If I was to ask you what's your biggest flaw, what would you say it is? Impatience. Yes. Yeah, which it's funny because it's my biggest strength too, because I tend to learn things really quick and get good at things quick, like YouTube, right? Yeah. YouTube, volleyball, everything like I tend to be pretty good at it, but it's also like, I think in a relationship perspective, like I'm not as patient as I need to be. Okay, so what, you want the wedding ring after a month? Yeah, no, don't want to hear 2 years. Not even like wedding rings, but it's more like, I think as women, sometimes we say something to a guy and we want him to do it immediately. Yeah, when it's like guys are on their own time. How do I put this? If you're nagging a guy or whatever to do something, like he wants to do it less. Yeah. And as women, like you just have to tell him and let him. Yeah, I felt that. I actually understand that. It's actually true. What about your biggest strength? I would say I'm really coachable. So I'm really open to like criticism from people that matter, not from these whales. Yes. Like, I like, like, why don't I take fitness advice from you? Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like I take feedback very well and I usually apply it. Like I don't know if you know who Kevin Samuels is. Yes. But I actually met with him before he passed away, and he gave me advice about a relationship I was in at the time, and he also gave me advice on my YouTube channel, and I took both of them. Sick. So,
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I just wanted to end by asking you, like, what's your future plans? Can we expect anything this year? What can we look forward to seeing?
So I'm doing a documentary about the court system here.
Okay.
And men not being able to get access to their children, and how women are incentivized to put out false accusations against men because the UK government gives you a free lawyer if you were abused or in an abusive situation. So there's millions of men in the UK that lose access to their kids.
100%.
Women only get access, or men only get access, full custody 10% of the time. I think that's an atrocity. I think we need fathers. And I think the fact that the British government says in any way that they don't is actually disgusting.
100%.
So I'm doing a whole documentary on the court system
Yeah,
here.
well done. Because I think there's a lot of that going on. I've got a lot of friends that ain't
How
got
many
access.
men grew up and thought their dad was a deadbeat dad just to find out that the mom wasn't letting him see the kids? I mean, we saw it happen to Kanye in front of our eyes.
No, 100%. 100%. I think that's definitely a positive one. I'm looking forward. Where can we see it? Is that your YouTube channel? Or is it
Yeah, YouTube, Just Pearly Things.
Yeah.
So that'll be out in the next couple months.
Wicked. Well, it's good to meet you.
Nice to
good
meet
to catch
you.
up with you. We're going to talk after anyway. But anyway, my people, love for tuning in. Myself, Ty Logan.
Oh, Just Pearly Things.
And we're here. Love for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Don't ruin it. We're doing it. Make some noise for Pearly, man.